What's going on, traders, and welcome to my stream. In this video, we're going to talk about Tom Hougaard. This guy wrote this book called "The Best Loser Wins." This book is on Amazon or an Audible. I actually have it in my Audible. If you work it on a download it, I listened to it 2 to 3 times. I actually really enjoyed it. He said a bunch of interesting stuff, very accurate stuff. And anyway, there was a podcast about him on YouTube that the Friendly Bear has, and I'm just gonna go through it and comment. So that's kind of like what we're gonna be doing here. So this is the Friendly Bear. This is Tom Hougaard, the top 1% of traders.
Because if any of you
we're gonna go from the beginning, and we're gonna watch it, and I'm gonna comment this amazing this amazing blog. This is actually a really good information about trading here. So this is Tom Hougaard. This guy wrote a book, and this guy over here is about to write a book. This guy is a short seller, so they're both really successful at what they do. And we're gonna take a look at what they had to say in their amazing YouTube that they have here. So the video is about 1 hour, so make sure you strap in, and we're gonna go discuss it.
Spirit by which we address things in life. I suppose I'm attracted to the darkness, and I see so much misery, and my natural inclination is I want to help.
Tom Hougaard, one of the world's most recognized high-stakes day traders. After starting his career in finance and tech, he went independent in 2009 and built a global following trading with million-dollar positions live.
Hougaard authored the best-selling book, Best Loser Wins, which reshaped trading psychology and stands as one of the most respected and successful figures in modern markets.
But I do have a life philosophy, is that I can't take the money with me, but I can take the lessons with me. And you don't have to agree with my life philosophy, but it's mine and it's mine to own. Thus, it's all our acquiring lessons and pushing the boundaries of what I'm capable of doing. It doesn't stop, it's not contrived. It's just part of life, and I want to inspire you to live a life like that as well. But now I've entered a different part of my life, and I'm thinking where I want to be in 20 years has to start now. 25 tons of food on Christmas Day. You did that. It might be me, but you're actor guy. But wait, there's more. And so you have to understand that I don't really fit into that normal prototype of trader, because I feel that with the gift of making money comes a responsibility. I don't know how you feel about making money, but the money I made, it's lovely, it gives security, it gives comfort, it gives you freedom to pursue what you want to pursue. And without being a godly person, I do feel that we have a responsibility, not to God, but to fellow man. Because not everybody is as fortunate as we are to be able to sit on the 51st floor. And you supported that through the purchase. So just think about that for a second.
That's actually true. You can actually work from anywhere. I traveled a bunch all the way in Europe. I travel in Europe all the time, so half my life is in Europe, half my life is here. I kind of go there during the summer, and because I have a house in the mountains, and then I come here during the winter. So trading, you can trade from anywhere. I actually like Europe, trading from Europe, because my work starts around, I don't know, 2 to 3 to 4 p.m. And I get a lot more sleep than I get in the States. So I highly recommend going to Europe and trading from Europe. Trading is awesome if you're able to do anything. You don't have a boss. That's my favorite thing about trading, I have to say. So this guy is spot on.
You went to Skid Row. Why did you go to Skid Row?
Because
Like today?
well, actually not today. Yesterday. Well, because that's where tragedy lives. And I suppose I'm attracted to the darkness, because I think that's where the growth is, and I see so much misery, and my natural inclination is I want to help. I gave a guy a pizza yesterday. And this has got nothing to do with trading, but it's got everything to do with the spirit by which we address things in life. It's got everything to do with how we seek out the challenges in life. I don't take the easy path. I just don't, because I don't get any satisfaction from it.
That's actually a hard pill to swallow. I never really take the easy path either. I take the hard path. Most of my greatest achievements in life has been because of taking the hard path. When it comes to dating, when it comes to uh trading, I usually go head in first, and then I break my head. That's how I usually am, which in any domain, which is terrible to do. Going in, head first and then breaking your head and trying to rebuild it. That's terrible. That's terrible. But I am consistent. I don't give up. I stopped doing that when I'm dating and when I'm trading. I stop doing that because it's just I know too much. So I have to. So satisfaction comes to me when I figure everything out about that subject and I go deep in it. Whenever it's dating, I'm actually right now working on my diet and my workouts because I have to. I'm actually a little bit chunkier than I'm used to, so it's just gonna mellow out in the next 2 weeks. So I'm talking with AI about the diet, the sleep, the exercises, and it's gonna work out. So I really do need to figure everything out. That's for sure. So I'm definitely glad that this guy is deep. You need to figure shit out. Like, until you know what every single tick that comes into that market does, you're not gonna have an edge.
And I don't get a thank you for it either when you give some dollars whale skip rope, they can barely register that you are there. But you just that little hope that somebody perhaps could see kindness where everybody else is giving up. Wouldn't you like to see that kindness if it was you? And then is it our job as human beings to be exactly that person that gives those people?
Actually, this is pretty true. I do like to be kind to people that somebody commented in my videos. He was like, "You're not kind." Somebody told me that I'm not kind enough, and then I told him not to do it, and then he did it, and then I was like, "You know what? You didn't listen. You lost money. You're not renewing. Goodbye." And then he said, "You're not kind enough." And then I'm like, "Well, I'm teaching people on the internet for free how to trade stocks. That's enough kindness." I've always been giving people stuff away. Actually, my main problem is giving too much of my energy away because there's certain people that are energy vampires, especially in life and in business. Like I had some, house renovations. I got scammed. I paid twice as much for a roof remodeling. Twice. I got scammed 2 times. And then every other person that came to fix something at my house, one of them overcharged me by 20%. And the next guy just, started his job and then came in like 3 weeks, 2 weeks later to finish it. So I'm not even going to start like how many people tried to scam me and screw me over. Even, I was the guy that's giving the most during this house renovation project, but most of the time I attract the craziest motherfuckers out there. They just feel like, yo, this guy is alone. Let me go scam him, finesse him, and then they get hit in the fucking face. I'm telling you, because I just hit him in the face with a I silently take their file and send emails out to the FBI and the most wanted list. I take details. I do everything. You don't want to know. You don't want to piss me off. I had a guy trying to steal my car, and then I researched everything about him, and I just sent him to the FBI. And then he sent a screenshot of me being fucking shocked that I did that. You don't want to fuck with me, dude. It's just I'm like those hidden douchebags that are just gonna come out of the woods and smack you in the face. I might be alone, I might be smiling, but when you come after me, you're dead. You're dead. So I'm very kind to those people that need me. Because I have this YouTube and I do talk openly about my, business and how I trade and how I plan things. But when it comes to people, not stepping, not, you know, crossing my borders, I just kick him out. It's not gonna work. I don't want no energy vampire. If you're here to learn, fine. If you're not, bye. It's just that simple. We're not here to, go out for coffee, for drinks. You're not my cousin. You're not my brother. You're not my mother or my father. You're just some random dude on the internet, and I'm selling you a quality information for you to make money. That's what we're doing here. And I do this in a very honorable, I work for the information and I'm selling the information. That's really, like a plumber. A plumber worked to be a plumber. You hire the plumber, you hire the plumber to come into your house and to pretty much do the plumbing, and then pretty much you pay him and then you say bye. That's me. I'm a trader. I trade. I know how to trade. I know stocks inside out.
Believe that hope. Isn't it our responsibility to give the estimates of the world?
No, this guy is wrong. Here is wrong. You don't help people that don't deserve to be helped. You only help people that beg to be helped. I met plenty of people that are just dragging you down, and they just pretty much take and take and take, and they chop your arm off when you give them something. So no, it's not your responsibility to help those that don't want to be helped. And that's not. You're not supposed
What you
to.
also done, and a young man, I won't say
I
his name
disagree.
because I haven't given permission, but he's paralyzed from the waist down. But he is a ferocious tennis player, and he will win the U.S. Open for his age bracket. And I support him with training, sending him training camp, because you just see that he was dealt a pretty shitty hand, but I see the fire in his eyes, and that fire is just so inspiring for all of us. So you support that as well, and every penny that comes in royalties from.
Yeah, so this is the book that Tom Hougaard has. It's on Audible. I actually have it downloaded. It's pretty good. So the fire in people's eyes, like how bad do you want it? Do you really want to be a trader? Do you really want to have, want to have big muscles? Do you really want to be a good UFC fighter? Do you really want to be a good, pistol shooter? How bad do you want it? You want to come in every day and do it? You got to come in to do the work, or study somebody that did the work. So this is the book that he wrote. It's pretty good. I have it.
Wins goes to direct charitable causes, something that is really measurable, not just sending it to Amnesty International and hoping for the best, but something. And I say this to you because if any of you were sat out there going, I got just the right project for you, I want to hear about it. Okay, anyway.
Yes.
So anyway, I'm sure you all told about trading.
No. Well, we'll get into trading, but so when you mentioned Skid Row, so I know you had stepped out.
You showered.
In the. Yeah, I showered there, man. I was part of the community for a little bit, but in a very very small, time frame. It was 5 minutes in, go shower and come out. That during COVID. But it's just I've seen everything down there. I've seen it all down there. Just those short moments that I was down there, and I reflected a lot because you'd have to wait in line to go to the shower, sometimes an hour, and you reflected a lot. And it's like we all have free will and we all have opportunity here in the United States. It's like I was always looking at the positive sides, and like the people that did show kindness, they always stood out. It's just like something as human beings. That's something even when I was in Haiti in 2010. The humanity is always a beautiful thing.
Have you ever read the book Man's Search for Meaning by Frank Pope? He was a concentration camp survivor. Has anybody read?
Yeah, this is actually pretty good. Everything can be taken from a man. One thing, the last human freedom to choose one attitude. Actually, this is pretty good. Like your attitude really dictates how things. If you lost money, what is your attitude gonna be? Probably you gotta fix it, right? I was reading a book about dating. I think it was about, I don't know what it was. It was about, getting zeroed out. It was kind of a dating book by Rollo Tomasi. And I was like, so what would you do if you had like a divorce, your kids left you and you lost all your money in the stock market? You reinvent yourself. You start, you have a better attitude. So, choosing the right attitude, I mean, you might be depressed for some time, but you have to pretty much come back with energy and pretty much, reinvent yourself. That's That's what you got to do. You got to have a good attitude. You can't just, snort some white stuff and pretty much, buy some ladies. It's just not. That's not the strategy to go through life, and drink some alcohol. No, you have to have a plan to get back up.
Yeah. Well, enough of you have read it. It's probably one of the most profound books about the meaning of life. The meaning of life is the meaning that you give life. And you can imagine that it's very hard to assign value to anything when you are the one that is essentially by the shovel shoveling the friends and families. It is a terribly inspiring book because when you think about life as an existential, it's difficult to think what it's really all about. And thus, it is only what we assign the value to. And so from my point of view, I don't do speeches where I just come and give you a spiel about a moving average. I just don't really want to do that. It's not me, and I didn't come all the way from Copenhagen to Los Angeles to give a speech about an oscillator or a weekend course that you could buy. I travel to change lives because I am standing on the shoulders of some enormous giants, one of which you have met today, Derek, as I've been to. And so the reason why I came to see you is because I feel that there was a sincerity in you that I liked and I resonated with. Otherwise, you could never have fucking managed to travel all the way to America. I thought that you were a salesman, you wouldn't have heard a word from me.
Yeah, I figured that part out, so. But Tom, okay, so I didn't know that about the book. I don't know how, in the podcast that we've done, I think you touched on it a little bit, but that's awesome, so the proceeds from the book go to something beautiful.
Is it awesome, or is it just what good people do when they want to try and help other people? Because do you think it's awesome? You. Well, isn't it just what, if you feel that somebody needs your help, don't you want to extend it? Yeah. And so when you have made, in my case, not just millions, but tens of millions from trading, what do you think I'm going to do? Buy a fucking Rolex and a Lamborghini? You think that gives me joy? Could you see me fit into a Lamborghini? I don't like that.
That's actually really true. Materialistic wealth can only get you so far. Materialistic wealth, like your life will not change if if you're making 50,000-60,000 a year. Going above that is not gonna be much different. You're still gonna have rent. You're still gonna have all those basic food necessities. A better car is not gonna change your lifestyle, change your life. So so that's good. He doesn't really get satisfaction from materialistic things. That comes down to Buddhism. Actually, I read a lot of Buddhism. Like, the only thing you come in this life with is, we don't leave with anything. Like, everything around you is gonna die. Everything is gonna deteriorate. This camera, my body, your family, this house. Eventually, it's not gonna be here anymore. So might as well enjoy what it is. You can't work all your life and buy a piece of metal. That's not that's not gonna make you happy.
Try it, it just doesn't work. And I'm sorry that I swear from time to time. I hope that you will forgive me. It's just when I want to get it fed.
So this guy made a lot of money and wants to share his knowledge. That's great. Okay, we got it.
I swear I could have done with otherwise. But the reality of the world is that, in 40 years' time, I probably won't be here. But I do have a life philosophy, is that I can't take the money with me, but I can take the lessons with me. And you don't have to agree with my life philosophy, but it's mine and it's mine to own. Thus, it's all about acquiring lessons and pushing the boundaries of what I'm capable of doing. And that, I have found the best profession in the world. There is no better profession, because trading, we are the least well-equipped people to address trading. We're not designed for risk-taking. We're designed for being risk-averse. That's how we survive. That's how we prosper. But then some of us...
Actually, this is really cool. This is really true. You're designed to be risk-adverse. That means taking the least amount of risk the most amount of gain. That's your job. Your job as a trader is to make the most amount of money with the least amount of risk. So this is going to apply into your life. You're going to buy the safest car that requires the least amount of maintenance. You're going to get the nicest girlfriend that is nicest to you and looks the nicest, and it's just not a streetwalker. You're just gonna implement all these things into your mind and be like, what is the juice worth the squeeze? That's actually really good. You're risk adverse. This is actually a good.
Where are you? Oh, see that young lady down there? Yeah, she's waving. I didn't catch her name, but she used to rock climb, but she found something better. Now she throws herself out of airplanes, presumably with a parachute. So we each have our things that pushes us, the boundaries that we wish to set. And that's what the life is about. It's not for show. It's then you mentioned yourself, you don't talk about how you went to Haiti.
So this guy's obviously in his 60s. So he's like, or 50s or 60s, and he's like, shit, I'm going to die eventually. So he's sharing his knowledge. Like, I don't know what it is about 60s. It's like, you're getting pretty close to death, right?
Well, I was deeply moved by his story because I have, whether you are aware of this or not, but Haiti is basically anarchy. It's Port-au-Prince. It's a capital of anarchy, where they shoot you for a good work. And you go in there and try to make a difference. It's charity as large.
Yeah, absolutely. I was in a position where I graduated with my undergrad degree and I was in architecture. I was sitting at home and I was thinking, well, I have this skill I used to help people and I can't get a job. So I just went there. I took a one-way flight and I ended up I was supposed to go there 1 month. I ended up staying there 6 months. And in the town that we were at was not far from Port-au-Prince, where they did what you just mentioned. There were all the volunteers hostages, and it was a risk. But I just went there with an open heart at the time, and just being young and naive in a good way. It was a great life experience. And I have nothing but good memories from there. There was no post-traumatic stress or whatever. People think that but it was all a beautiful experience. I'm so happy that we could have them here today.
So let me ask you all a question. Today is the 10th of October 2025. Where will you be on the 10th of October 2045? See, I am
2025, I'll probably be dead. No, I mean, not dead. No. He'll probably be dead. Where will I be in 20 years? No, I'm probably not going to be dead. No, 2000, I think I thought he said 2021-45, not 2025. That's only 20 years. Jesus, no. So
asked that question
maybe he's going to be dead because he's like 60, I think,
to
right?
myself all the time. I have this firm belief that we live our lives in 4 stages. And then actually I saw that Tony Robbins, he was talking about the same thing. I said, damn, I don't know whether I beat him to it or not. But we have that first 20 years of our lives, we are supported and nourished by our parents. And then we could call that the springtime of our life. And then comes the summertime where everything just grows from 20 to 40 and whatever we put our mind to, it may not be as prosperous growth as we want to, but nevertheless is there. But now I've entered a different part of my life, and I'm thinking where I want to be in 20 years has to start now. I can't show up in 20 years' time with, say that in 20 years' time I'll be 76. And so there's things that I want to be when I'm 76. I want to have a lean body mass. I want to be strong because I know that if disease does hit me, having
Yeah, you gotta like plan where you see yourself in a year. I was looking at the one good trade from SMB Capital, the bald guy. He was like, so where do you want to see your account in December 2026? Where do you want to see? Like, he's already planning, like, you have to visualize it before you actually see it. Because if you don't visualize it, you're not gonna get it. So where do you want to see your account be at 2026? It's kind of like the same thing as, where focus goes, focus, attention follows. But you have to really plan what you want to see. Like right now, I noticed my video was not in 4K. My video was in 720p, and I upgraded it to 4K, which is nice. And right now I can stream better. You can see me better. So my attention was to this, and now so now we're off to a better environment. So you have to watch your attention.
Mass will at least increase the odds of me surviving whatever. It could be a cancer scare, whatever it may be. But I can't wait until it happens, can I? It has to start now. And that's how I live my life, constantly thinking forward. Doesn't mean I can't be present, grounded in this moment, thoroughly enjoying my time in Los Angeles. But it doesn't stop. It's not contrived. It's just part of life, and I want to inspire you to live a life like that as well. A life where we're constantly thinking, well, if I want to be there, if you want to be good traders, how do I evolve into that? And then you work backwards and say, well, if I want to have a...
That's true. That's true. If you want to be a good trader, how do you work yourself backwards? Need to make every day a good trade. Follow rules. The rules are there to save you. The rules are like your armor. Like those are every day you have to add another rule. That's your armor when it comes to trading. You lost on a ticker, you need to figure out why you lost, how much you lost, where was your buy, where was your sell, and not do it again tomorrow. And you do that consistently and every day, eventually you're just gonna come in and just print money. That's because you already did all the mistakes. So consider those mistakes being as your tuition to the stock market. So where do you want to be? You want to be winning all the time? Because if you work at it, you might just get there sooner than everybody else.
Strong body at 76, I probably need to start working out every single day. Well, how do I do that? Well, you need to, if you don't measure it.
So seems like he's 56. He's 56. So he's planning to have a strong body at 76. So he's planning to work out.
If you don't record it.
There you go. This is actually really good. Like I do measure, like right now I'm measuring my water intake. My water intake is about 1 gallon and 1 liter because I weigh 230 pounds. And I measure like how much protein I'm eating because I have to get between 0.8 to 1 per body weight. So it's ridiculous. Like I'm drinking like 2 shakes a day, grilled chicken, eggs, egg whites. It's ridiculous. But I have to get all that protein in and all that water in and all that sleep in on top of this because I wake up every day at 8:30 on Monday till about 11. So that's 3-hour block. And then Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I wake up at freaking 7. You know what it's like? Waking up on 5 hours, 6 hours of sleep at 6:45 and being ready to rock and roll. It's painful as shit. I need to continuously go to the gym and add my protein every day, add my sleep, and add my water. It's ridiculous. Like I have to plan because what am I supposed to do? Be like a fat 50-year-old, fat 50 rich year-old? I can't do that. I have to. I think I'm. This is the chubbiest I've been, really.
You can't measure it. And so everything's just meticulous.
You have to measure it. You have to measure your trays. You have to measure your weight. Like at one point, my scale was going up so high, I thought the scale was wrong. I thought the scale was going up in the wrong direction. I was like, why is the scale going up in the wrong direction? What the fuck?
Note it down. So, well, how many push-ups did you? How many pull-ups did you? Because that's how you improve. And I do the same for trading. So I was talking on the break and saying, well, look, currently I'm trading 100 contracts, 100 lots in the Dow. I don't want to sell about 100 lots. I want to trade 200 lots. But you don't just go from 100 to 200 lots in one snap. You go, right, I'm going to go from 100 to 105, 105 to 110 perhaps. And you keep pushing the boundaries by desensitizing your mind. And so what seems hard today, everything in life, look around, everything and everybody who's ever successful in life did it in incremental stages.
That's true. That's true. When I first went to the gym, everything was hard. Like about a month ago, I was starting to work out, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I was sore continuously. I almost needed some pain relievers from being so sore. And nowadays, like my cardio and my weightlifting is way better. So I was measuring it. You have to measure it. You have to. I rate all the time when I worked out, how much I worked out, how I felt during that workout. Now I'm actually chatting with ChatGPT to maybe my boxing day. I cannot mix it with shoulder day, or if I do boxing, I have to do it after my shoulder day. It's a pain in the ass, but I'm doing it right. I'm measuring it.
They cut away as much noise as possible by staying focused on what they had decided. And this isn't a motivational speech, but in the same sense, it is a motivational speech, because if you want to be where I am, you need to work very structured. And I am hoping I'm speaking to the young traders who are coming up through the ranks. Because if you want to be where I am, you can't just rely on the latest newsletter and the idea that because you knew a couple of theories about technical analysis, that the salvation is yours. No.
This is actually really good. Like for example, this week and next week, and last week, we had an example of first Green Day bounce, and last week it failed. If you see my full 3-hour video of first Green Day bounce, just on that setup, I have 35 different examples on the best first Green Day bounce, and I went through it hardcore for 3.5 hours in my course, and I'm telling you, 9 out of 10, all of them look identical. And this week and last week, the first Green Day bounce did not work. Did not work. From all the 500 example of first Green Day bounce, they did not work. Because if you look at the details of the volume, candle that happened on the 1 minute, it was low volume. So it was a low volume first Green Day bounce, and the low volume first Green Day bounce failed. So I didn't buy it. And those that purchased my course and watched that full 3-hour video understood why I did not buy it, and it failed. And it's not, even though technical analysis, I'm like, you can watch as many videos as you want on YouTube of what I have to say, but until you do the full 15-hour course, you're like way behind. You're like way behind. Like, even if you watch the course and you don't have the scanners, you're just gonna be way behind. It's kind of like, bodybuilding. I can't just give you creatine and you're gonna be jacked. I can't give you just, a pre-workout and then you're gonna be jacked. You gotta mix it. You gotta have, reds and greens, and I don't know what they have. Creatine, EAAs. I don't know what's a BCAA and a EAA. And then I have to have my protein, and then I have to have my sleep. You don't want to know. If I just give you a creatine, are you gonna get jacked? No. So if I just give you a 5-minute video of the first Green Day bounce, you think you're gonna know the setup? No. It's just the matter of, you have to study. That's a lot of studying. And how did I study? Watching the market every day, being here and having my ass. Like at one point I was sitting on this chair so much that I was getting like some bumps on my from on my private zone. It was ridiculous. It was an ugly bump there that I had from so much sitting and so much watching the market. It was just ridiculous. So just remember what you're into. What you're into if you try to do it by yourself.
No, on quite the contrary. This is not an upward journey. This is an inward journey. And that inward journey is tremendously hard work.
Yeah. Everybody, like my family members, tell me, "You're so tough on me. You're so rough on me." It's just reality. I'm not rough on you. It's just I'm chubbier than I used to be a month ago. That's just what it is. I suck at playing, I don't know, at, I don't suck at fixing cars. I suck at, what do I suck at? Playing instruments. I don't know. I suck at that. I don't know. I don't know nothing about rocket science. I can look in a mirror and tell you that I know nothing about this rocket. and the signs of it. I'm gonna tell you straight up that I suck. But it's much better to suck at something than come in and go to the rocket and try to fly to the moon and die. It's much better to suck. Embrace the suck. Learn it from me. It's much better to be like, yo, I suck at this. I need to find somebody who's better at me at this and learn it from him. Otherwise, I'm gonna A, blow up my account or die on my way to the moon. That's really how it is. I'm not really being harsh on you. I'm just telling you what it is. If you go on the interstate and you go on the other side of the road and you go, you accelerate 100 miles per hour, you're eventually going to hit a car and die. If I say that to you, I'm not, I'm very harsh on you. No, there's a car in front of you. You're going on the other side of the road. Eventually, you're going to hit another car with a full on collision and you're going to die. There's nothing personal. It's just what is going to happen. Same thing with the rocket. Same thing with my trading. Same thing with my course. Same thing with everything in life. It takes work. A lot of work. So much work.
Absolutely. So what that reminds me of the sense of urgency that I spoke about earlier. So you have this sense of urgency, this fire in you. You mentioned what drives you, but you have this like limited amount of time that you're working with on Earth, and so like how much does that have an effect on like everything you do? Like is it constantly? Because I think a lot of people here, they haven't tapped into that. They haven't tapped into that, and that's what like that that's what helped make me a successful trader. So if you tap into that and then you get more done, you do more of what you need to do, and you're constantly, it's like this thing looming. It took me to get brain surgery in order to have that gift, but you have it. So, how did you tap into that urgency? And like, it's with you all the time. I see it. I'm sure everybody sees it. So how do you tap into that, and how do others?
Have you ever seen a movie called Swimming with Sharks? It's a real dark movie. It's really dark, and it's about Hollywood movie executives. Anyway, so the story goes, there's a scene in the movie where the Hollywood movie executive is being held. Hans Ramshaw is being held, or zip tied. And he's talking to his accuser who he used to work with and says, he has the fucking problem, you MTV microwave fucking dinner generation. You all want it now. You think you deserve it just because you want it? It doesn't work like that.
Oh, this is actually good. You think you deserve it just because you want it? It's like you have the, instant gratification kind of deal. It's like, I don't know, maybe in the future, maybe when time is going to shrink to a very small amount, say, everything happens instantly. You want something, you get it. Like now we're progressing in faster time with Uber Eats, Uber, Uber panties at your house. Right now, everything's going really fast, but in the future, everything's gonna be instant. That's what the future is about. But just because you want something doesn't mean you're gonna get it. You can, everybody wants something. Doesn't mean you're gonna get it. You need to work for it. Either you work for it or it's just you're not gonna get it.
You gotta make it and you gotta take it. But first you need to decide, what is it you really want? And I think that the key question, the wisest words that were ever uttered by anybody was Socrates when he said, know yourself. Do you know yourself and do you know what you want? Because it's so easy to buy a ticket for an 8-hour event here in here.
Actually, this is pretty good. You have to really know yourself when in trading. You have to know yourself. You have to know yourself. What are you gonna do when you lose? You have to know yourself. What do you do when you're winning? You have to know yourself. What do you do when nothing happens? Those are three of the basic things. Because if you're gonna not walk away when you're winning, you might give it back. if you were not, or you might win more, which is highly unlikely, very slim chance. If you're not going to walk away when you're losing, you might lose more. And if you're, doing nothing, you're trying to force things when there's no opportunity, you might lose again. So you need to know all these three things. In trading is the same thing as I read now. I read a really nice article about bodybuilding. If you're, bodybuilding, working, the same muscle groups more than twice a week, like I have a routine, shoulders, chest, back, and arms. And, Arnold hit these muscle groups 2 times a week. So that means he did 8 workouts a week. And I was just reading a video about some bodybuilder that he's like, you don't need to train 4 times, 2 times per muscle group. You only need to train it like 1 time. And same thing in trading. Just because you show up and you have scanners and you're up at 4 o'clock in the morning and you have hotkeys and you have money in your account doesn't mean you're gonna make money. Just because you want to make money doesn't mean the opportunity is going to show up. And trading more does not equal making more. You need to show up between ideal times of trading, but like every other trader, when the brokerage is open, 7 o'clock, 6:45, down to 10:30 when the algos pretty much take over. You need to show up during those times. And you need to make the most out of it. What you see when that time bank happens. If you see anything outside of that, you might get lucky. You might not get lucky. In a hot market, you might get lucky all the time. In the on Tuesday, on Monday, on the first day of the week, it was really hot midday. We had a 320% gainer, I think, on last week, just last week on Monday. If you sat there all day long. So there's exceptions to this rule. So you have to have. I even forgot. But you have to know yourself. that's you have to know yourself and know the market. And if you combine these two, you're gonna be profitable.
Los Angeles, and when you leave that door Tuesday evening, what do you want to achieve? What will it take for you to finally do the work? Because if not now, then when? And part of the process of knowing thyself is also to know when to push. And so you're asking, I can't identify, but I assure you, I also need to balance life because otherwise you become one-dimensional. So I need downtime. I need times to, at times I just need to tell you a crap joke. Sometimes I just need to let steam off and do something else for a little while. But it is intense to be a trader, and especially at that level.
It's very intense to be a trader. It's like, say you drive a car. First, you're on a beat up Honda. Being a trader is kind of like driving a fast Ferrari on the racetrack. Everything happens really quick. You're on the racetrack and you're driving a Bugatti. That's how quick everything happens. You ever seen a guy? You ever seen those videos? On the German the German autobahns. They get their Bugatti and they floor it and they drive through the at 3, 4, 500 miles per hour or something. That's what trading is. When things are intense and they're moving really quick, it's kind of like you're in that passenger seat and you're driving that Bugatti. One slip movement, you didn't see that buy sell. You didn't see that buy indicator. You didn't see that sell indicator. You're just going to die. Your trade is going to be shit. And you practice for it. First you have a horse and a carriage. Then you walk. Then you have a bicycle. Then you have a speed, you practice, then you have rollerblades, I don't know, and then you finally have a car, then you have a Honda, then you have a nicer car, maybe you can afford a BMW, maybe you get an Audi, then you move up to higher, maybe you're gonna get, I don't know, an Aston Martin, and so maybe then you're gonna go to pretty much Ferrari, and then all the top up is the Bugatti, right? You got to practice all the way up. Then if you run that Bugatti and you floor it at 500, 600 miles per hour, whatever the heck the top speed is, eventually it's gonna stop working. It's just unsustainable for the human body to handle those extreme emotions. That's why you need cool down time. This is really good.
But I wouldn't want to be anywhere else. And you know who I take inspiration from? From you guys, because your work ethic in America far surpasses work ethic that I've seen anywhere else. And
Actually, this is true. I was in Europe and I had my house done and I was installing some what is it called? Some gas pipes or whatever and he started and I was like, "What the hell is going on? You haven't been here for 2 weeks." And I called him on Saturday and I called him on the Sunday and I was like, "Why are you not here? It's been 3 weeks since you started the job." And he's like, "Oh, it's Sunday. I'm going to church." Like, what does church have to do with fixing my you started a project 3 weeks ago and then you stopped answering to your calls for 3 weeks. And now I'm calling you at Sunday and you're telling me you're going to church. If you don't finish your job, I'm gonna get somebody else to finish the job and pretty much block you. That's what I told him. So the next day he showed up. I'm like, what kind of world do they live in? Over in Europe, I'm telling you, they're getting drunk over the weekend every single day. They're wasted as shit. And they work for 5 6 hours a day. They sleep 8 to 10 to 12 hours. They have a lot of vacation. They complain. They're not making enough money. You have no idea. You have no idea how much I work for my career and for me knowing how to trade this. You have no clue. You think that I just, set up a camera, big deal. I set up some reels, big deal. It's just I practice every single day. I watched every single day. You have no idea. Like I work nonstop to get better and better. There's no Saturday and Sunday for me. If there was, I wouldn't be so successful. Saturdays and Sundays are days where you review your trades and you review your trades. And as soon as I'm telling you, as soon as you stop reviewing your trades over the weekend, as soon as your account is gonna go red the next week. Because what happened last week is going to tell you like what's gonna happen this week. Like the way you traded last week, you need to make adjustments for next week. Like the setups they're not gonna be so easy. Say last week everything was easy because everything was going, and say you were leaving money on the table, you can show up this week and you're doing the same thing as last week. They might be going higher or lower based on how they went last week. Last week they moved great, but next week I don't know, probably less. So the work ethic in Europe is shit. I'm telling you, like the people in Europe, they don't know what working is. They take weekends off and go to church.
I worked for a big American company, Chase Manhattan Bank, that became JP Morgan Chase. And so I've seen the work ethic that American workers put forth. And it puts the rest of the world, at least my world, to shame. That's inspiring. But what also inspires me, and what profoundly inspired me, was Kobe Bryant's work ethic. I read about Kobe Bryant. I bought Black Mamba, and I thought, I want to be like him. And it felt natural. And now I'm interested in, okay, I'm probably going to get this wrong, but Steph Curry, he's the one that holds the record for most three-pointers. And people say he's really skilled and talented. And he says, no, I'm not. I practice 500 shots every single day. That's 168,000 shots a year. How is that skill? That's just hard work.
I'm green most of these days. Sorry, the microphone was off. So sorry about that. I was talking to the wall. So, I practice. That's what you gotta go through it.
That's what inspires me. So you're asking me, how do I find a fire? Through the external. You inspire me. The people I've spoken to, that young lady that decided to be absolutely nut job and throw herself out of an airplane. I mean, what the hell? You inspire me. The lady that I spoke to there, who took a big loss and got back on the horse, you inspire me.
Awesome. Well, yeah.
It's hard to play a spot to that way. I like how it's sort of you hanging a bit far.
Sorry, or nice epic, So now you mentioned Kobe Bryant. Okay, so Kobe Bryant, I love Kobe Bryant. So he played for the Lakers over there. They have a statue of him, and for another one with him and his daughter recently. But he practiced. He was to make it to the NBA. You gotta use the best, all right, the best of the best. And he was drafted, I don't know, one of the top picks, and he still practiced. He saw it right away. He's like, okay, in order for me to be the best of the best of the best, I got to practice twice as much as these guys. And after a couple of years, they can never even catch up to me. There's just not enough time in the day. So he would do like 3 or 4 practices a day, while everyone else doing 1 or 2 practices a day. And not only was it just practice that we talked about, it was perfect practice. He had a regimen and he had a whole system. And then after 2 or 3 years, like no one could catch up to him. And Kobe was not the most talented either. So, so it's just about that perfect practice. And I know you mentioned those Tiger Woods also.
That's good. I actually saw Tiger Woods. I think it was like 10 years, 10 years ago. I was serving him some turkey dinner at Boston Market. I was working there. It was like, I don't know, it was like 20 years ago. I think I saw Tiger Woods. He was at the drive-through. Yeah, practice makes perfect. Like in 2008, I was practicing OTCs continuously, and then the marijuana boom showed up, and I made a crap load of money. Marijuana stocks ended up going to the moon, and that was pretty hot. Marijuana stocks. I was practicing and recording my trades, every trade that I was taking in these marijuana plays. So the Tiger Woods guy has pretty serious regiment, to you don't want to know like what his routine is. Every single day he probably practices.
So my favorite of you the short videos when you're saying like a long time ago, and it still applies. You still mention Tiger Woods all these years about on the weekends while other people are doing other things, you're on the charts with that chart.
Yeah. Like, what exactly are you doing on the weekends? Are you reviewing the charts? Like, I had people buying the course and reviewing the setups. Are you reviewing the setups? What are you doing on the weekends? What kind of information are you plugging into your, operating system? I like to review what I did and go through them and pretty much see what I can improve. That's basically what you be doing. And I like to rest. Resting is important. I like to listen to some random Audible books, not necessarily all about trading. I try to keep myself distracted from, dating. I like to date, and I like to, work on my fitness. Those are like my main hobbies that I have. But what are you doing on your weekend? What are you trying to improve at? Your fitness, your dating, your finances. Probably most of you are trying to improve your finances. You have to study the setups. Record what you've been doing. It doesn't take much. All you need like 3 hours every weekend. It's not a lot of studying.
It's going on.
Yeah, that's true. And I make no apology for being a little bit intense at times. And sometimes I just need to get that out of my system. But it's true. I don't really. My ex-wife, she used to say there's only 2 gears in Tom Hougaard's life. There's 2 paces. There's 0 or 100 miles an hour. There's nothing in between, and it's true. And okay, but let's just get real. I grew up on a council estate. Do you know what that means? That's the equivalent of growing up in Harlem, because I don't know any other cultural reference point. And if you want to get out of Harlem, I imagine you work your ass off, because there isn't a whole lot of hope, and people's expectations of you aren't very high. You are nodding, so perhaps you can relate to that. And so if you go one of two ways, you can use what I called drawn to motivation or push away motivation. And I most certainly used push away motivation. I thought, that's not where I want to be. And there was not that, okay, so I will come from a broken family, but there was not like we were tortured or anything like that. But imagine, and perhaps this is the real key to me. But imagine that you went to one of the finest schools in the country, where everybody was wearing Lacoste. You remember in the 80s, they wear that stupid little crocodile, and if you didn't wear that stupid crocodile, you just were in the in crowd. Well, I had the good misfortune of going to a school that was very affluent, but then my mother and father divorced. And so now I was 8 years old, and I now moved to a council estate, because that was the only thing that my father could afford. But I still had to go and be at that school. I showed up in clothes that hadn't been washed 3 or 4 days, while everybody else showed up in the finest sneakers, the Nike sneakers and Lacoste. What do you think that does to a little boy that desperately wants to fit in? Because let's face it, we all have it in ourselves. It's tribal. We all want to be fit in. We all want to be liked. I tell you, that is an astounding motivator to get off your posterior and try and achieve something in your life. So maybe my mom and dad in the divorce was a really good thing. Maybe not for them, maybe not for me either, but in the long term, what is the saying? If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger.
And so when you worked at the bank, did you have these qualities? Or
yes. So we have this joke that the first month that I worked at Chase Manhattan Bank was the month that I did the least amount of overtime. So that was the joke. So I worked there for 3 years, and the first month I did 35 hours of overtime. And that was the lightest workload that I ever did for the bank. So right from the beginning, there was this exhilaration. Because you have to understand, I really wanted to be a trader, but I couldn't, I failed. All the job interviews that I did for trading jobs, they was like, yeah, we're not interested in you. And that was demoralizing because I had a bachelor's degree.
Holy crap. Holy crap. So this guy applied. So this guy applied to the job, and they didn't approve him. I actually also applied. When I first started, it was 20 years ago. I was trying to apply for a really good chat room. I was like, yo, let me come in and like help out. And I didn't know anything. The guy looked at me, he's like, nah, you can't. And I'm like, shit. So I was like, you know what? If you're not gonna help me out, I'm just gonna create my own website. So I created my own website. It's like, I know which website it is. It was the investors dude. I really liked I really liked what he was doing, because he was showing me setups, but I didn't quite really learn from him that much. The investor dude. So I showed up, and then he didn't really want to accept me there. I started my own website. I was like, you don't want to, you don't want to help, you don't want to promote me. I'm out. So I initially got rejected as well. It's just I got rejected everywhere. I think everywhere. I that's the only actually that's the only place. The only thing I got invited to was the Timmy dude. The Timmy dude, when I was trading marijuana stock, he wanted for me to be part of his Profit LY team. I was like, nah, I'm good. I was like, I don't want to be part of your Profit LY guru that trades marijuana stocks. I'm good. The Timmy dude. It's just I don't really want to do business in that direction. But it's nice to see that the Timmy dude. It was nice to see some. It didn't really sit well with me, that invitation. That was when people want to be part of your life, just remember you're very much close to the top. And you're doing really well, and those you need to maximize your winnings during those times and distract let go of distractions. I recognize that most of the time when you're at the top of your game, everybody wants a piece of you. When you're struggling, nobody cares. Nobody cares. So if people want a piece of you, you're at the top and you need to keep ignoring them.
And a master's degree in finance. I mean, I could draw option curves, I could derive the equations, but perhaps I wasn't from the right school, or maybe the candidates I was against were just better than me. And so I thought, well, if that's not it, then at least I'll work in what they call the middle office. I won't be in the front office, but at least I'll be somewhat closer to the action. And do you know why my book is dedicated to the girl at the Bloomberg terminal? Because the girl at the Bloomberg terminal, while actually also a physical girl, it is also a metaphor for someone who encouraged you to dive deeper. Because when I spoke to her, the joke was that I would use the Bloomberg terminal, but I wasn't supposed to use the Bloomberg terminal. Why was at the Bloomberg terminal? Because I was trading and I had to check real-time prices. How could I do that? This is 1998 and we didn't have, smartphones.
So this guy was in the Bloomberg terminal. That's a really deep.
What they were doing. And every time that she actually legitimately needed the Bloomberg terminal, I was there. And every time she had to kick me off. But as we got to know each other, through the courtship, it was like, you should really pursue this. You are so passionate about this. What are you doing here? So the girl at the Bloomberg terminal isn't just a physical entity. It's also a metaphor for someone, whether it's yourself or someone else, who backs you up and says, pursue your dreams. Don't be afraid, take chances. And it was a huge chance I took there because I just left my 3 years of savings. And by the time I was done with my 18th month as a trader, I had nothing left. And if I had not taught my way into a brokerage job, I don't know what I would be doing today. That's the reality of it, that in 2001, when I joined that, I was so cash poor that, I don't know if you've ever seen me do a TV interview in the early days, but I would be wearing a three-piece suit, but I didn't have a three-piece suit. I only had the trousers and the vest because I couldn't afford the jacket. That's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. So you took this, you bet on yourself, even though you were 18 months, you said you bled out. And then you joined the brokerage, joined the firm.
That's right. And I was a local trader. I had no idea what I was doing. Generally, I am not trying to sort of mask sort of false sense of humility. I generally had no idea what I was doing. It was a raging bull market as an Nasdaq, and I just kept shorting. Does that remind you of anything?
Yeah.
That supermarket mentality, oh, it can't go any higher. Oh, but it did. It can't go any higher. Oh, but it did. And so I had so much to unlearn. And I wouldn't even say that I learned fast, but I learned because we learn through adversity. And those who didn't want to go to those, shall we say, the dark places, those that didn't want to do the review of their trading account, the brokerage, how would they ever learn that from their mistakes? Look, ladies and gentlemen, I know this is a topic that perhaps is more akin to a Tony Robbins motivational seminar. But those of us who actually dare looking ourselves in the mirror and honestly reflect.
Actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Right now, like I do have habits of shorting too soon. Like when Bitcoin moved, I was like, what the hell is going on? When it first moved from like 20,000 to like 30, 40,000, I was like, this is outrageous. And then it actually got up to 60,000. I'm sure all the short sellers are dead. And same thing with, I think, it was the Nvidia, right? Nvidia was like at $80. Now we're like, well, I saw it at like $50. It kept going higher and higher and higher every single day. It was ridiculous. And now we're like almost at the 200 level. So same thing with silver. Silver just passed. I saw it at 20, then it was 30, then it was 40, and now we're like, I don't know what the hell. Can you even look at the price of silver? That's actually what kind of Look at the price of silver right now. Look at it. It's just at $82. What the heck is going on? Look at it. It's $82. This is ridiculous. Like this thing has been going up from I don't know, from 50 from like the 30s, and we're at 80. It's just going, look at it. Look at it. It's going like vertical. We're at $82 in silver. So so if I shorted anywhere on the front side, I would have been pretty much dead. It's just ridiculous when you see them happening. It's very, very shocking. So I do have to learn to buy them rather than, try to short them too soon.
Upon our weaknesses, those are the ones that will accelerate our growth. If we don't look at our trading performance, if we don't confront with our bad habits, we're never going to get anywhere. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you gotta confront your bad habits. Try not to overtrade more than two tickers a day. Try not to oversize on the when you're losing. I kind of oversize when I'm losing, I think. I don't know why I do that. I oversize when I'm losing. Right? Not accepting defeat. Like, you need to become the best loser you can. Defeat is something very common in trading. Like, you're gonna lose a lot and you need to lose small. That's something important. So I do have problems as well. Admitting defeat is just something that I need to pretty much admit.
Want to be the guy that just gives you platitudes and a feel-good speech about how we can all hear you, because you just won't. But the irony is that every single one of us in here could make it to the top. And of course, I'm doing a talk like this because I'm an aging trader, and I know that there's a new generation of traders coming up, and I want to inspire them to dig deep, to push the boundaries. Do you know what's really interesting? What's really interesting that if you are a male between 18 and 30 and you want to qualify the Boston Marathon, you need to be able to run the marathon in 3 hours and 10 minutes or so. But did you know in 1908, I think his name was Joseph Wilson, could be wrong here, but he ran, and he made headlines all over the world. But he ran the marathon in the fastest time that was ever recorded, in 2 hours and 58 minutes. So 100 years ago, he was a sensation. Today, he would barely qualify for the Boston Marathon. So do you understand now, when I'm talking about my idea of pushing the boundaries as a trader, is in the full knowledge that in 100 years, my achievements would seem like, Jesus, my book would be shredded by now, because the understanding of the mind's role in performance would have been so enough. But someone has to stop. Someone has to start that evolution of traders, because up until now, all we ever focused about was tools, Fibonacci, moving averages. Did you know that the Bible of technical analysis, Edwards and McGee, have you ever come across that? First of all, the atrocity is it's written by 2 journalists, not 2 traders. That's the one thing. And it's a 770-page tome. How many of those 770 pages were devoted to how the mind interacts when it's coming across fear? I tell you, one.
That's actually true. That's actually true. Like, there's a lot of learning curve. Like, what do you do when you're scared of the market? What do you do when you're scared of trading? What if you do if you're scared to press the buy button? What do you do when you're euphoric? This is actually really good information. Like, they don't talk about the emotions that you have while you have a hot or a cold market.
One page mentions the word patience. One page. The rest of it is just how to. Well, shit, it's really easy to play golf, isn't it? Just put the bloody thing in that. But try the difference between you with your mates on a Sunday afternoon, having a little bit of fun, or trying to putt for the Augusta Championship. Well, maybe that's the part of the problem here, is that you're trying to chew more than you can. Thank you. You can, yeah. I need a little help every now. By the way, I once went on TV, and when something is set in stone, but my mind couldn't fathom that, because stone seems porous to me. So I said that it was set in cement. which intuitively makes a lot more sense if something is set in cement than set in stone. But anyway, there may be some laughter and then.
On the alley with the locks.
I'm saying to him, look, if you really want to be good at something, you have to actually begin at a trading size that doesn't intimidate your mind. You have to start at a trading size that seems to be surmountable, passable, okay. Because whether you like it or not, going straight in with 100 lot, you won't pass. But imagine how quickly you could grow to 100 lot if you increased your lot size by 1 every fortnight. In a couple of years' time, you'll be trading bigger size that you could possibly be imagining. Isn't the purpose of what you want and why you're here? You want to be right, but when you're right, you don't want to be right in a 10 lot, you want to be right in a 50 lot.
Actually, this is really good. Sizing between small size and big size. I actually went through this video. I think I went through this video. Sizing with small size, sizing up when you know, like, say the small cap market just started being hot. It was hot on Monday. I sized up on Tuesday. So therefore that was an A lot. So I pretty much doubled my week knowing that's an A lot. Pretty much pretty much that's what he's teaching here. Trying to size up when you know you're right and trying to size down when you don't know anything.
Because that's a lot more fun, that's a lot more exciting. And I know that this talk here may resemble something that you didn't want to hear, and people are yawning, and that's absolutely fine. All you're doing is that you are absolutely enhancing my firm belief that in this industry, it's the 10% or less that succeed, because they're prepared to go to the places that the 90% will not go, because nobody wants to.
Yeah, you're not prepared to go where nobody wants to go. Like, you're not prepared to lose, to have somebody break your self-esteem on trading these tickers. Like, I'm telling you, the market is gonna break your self-esteem so many times. You're gonna be numb from losing. As soon as you see something wrong with your setup, you're gonna start running away. Same thing with dating nowadays. As soon as I see a girl with like one red flag, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm gonna pass. As soon as you see a ticker that doesn't fit your criteria, you'd be like, nah, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm gonna pass. I'm going to not trade that setup. You're gonna have one of those you're just gonna have one of those you guys just gonna have some of those reflexes. You just don't want to deal with it.
To embrace their insecurities, their
pretty much,
frailties,
knowing
and
when
their
to bet.
bad habits and their bad behaviors.
Yes, that's a dark place, and we got to go to that dark place to figure it out. The market, like my computer screens in my office is like a direct reflection of myself, and I had to face a lot of those problems and fix it. That's the beautiful thing about trading, though. Like if you address these things and you have the mindset to keep improving and to work on it, and to do what the small percentage of traders are doing, the successful ones, success will come. But like too few people, they say they want it, but they don't really want it. I showed pictures of myself from the COVID times. Like I was willing to do whatever it took. I went to all those dark places, and I got it done. But like, how many people are willing to go that far, to go and make a success out of themselves in trading? Because we have all the information. It's all over the internet. It's all over in your book. My book is coming out. I'm sharing a lot. In Friendly Bear University, I had everyone sign an NDA, and I'm putting it in a book now. So so like but with trading, it's evolving, and everybody needs to adapt. So like it's gonna be what the strategies I give now eventually is going to catch on. You need to create new strategies for the way I trade. But yeah, it's that mindset. You need to always just keep improving and to show up and do whatever it takes. I know that whoever's yawning, I didn't see anyone yawn.
That's actually pretty good. Need to show up and do whatever it takes. Show up and do whatever it takes. Build the scanner. Watch the stocks. Watch the stocks daily of the highest percent gainers. I used to do that every single day and did whatever it took. Woke up, tried different strategy, tried it at 4 a.m., tried it at 6 p.m., tried it at 7 p.m., tried it at 4 p.m., tried it at 5 a.m. I tried everything. No to man. Everything comes down to between 7 and 11. And 10 sometimes. It's like don't try to reinvent the wheel. It's just not gonna happen. And I did that during a cold market season. I didn't even do that during a hot market season. I did that during a cold market season.
But like yawning is something that I know that so here at the City Club, I think I told you they have the NFL alumni events, and I go on Mondays to go. The NFL retired players come, and they said they were eating lunch and they're joking around, and they're saying, yeah, well, we will watch the film and the videos. If someone yawned, the coach would throw something at him, slap him across the head, So like it would, but like it's and if you yawned or you dozed off, your job would be taken over. So it's like the players that really wanted to succeed, they had to like put in the extra work. It's like life in order to make it to the best of the best. And trading is like it's like a professional sport. It's like the 1%, the slight percentage, no one to succeed. It's a high failure rate.
It's good to come to these events for all of you, and including for me. When I lost badly on stage Monday, the indignity of it is my fuel. Can you imagine for a second what it's like to be a professional trader and you go on stage with people you look up to and you crash and burn?
We saw that.
Yeah, you saw it. That's fuel. And I don't want for one moment to sit here like I am some paragon of perfection, because I'm not. Everything I have done has been through grit. I wasn't blessed with intelligence. I wasn't blessed with fortunate circumstances. It was just little by little. And if I were you, depending on what it is that you want to achieve, and I know that those goals are different for every single one of you. Some of you are futures traders. Some of you, like Adam, wherever he is, he trades. Hi, Adam. Okay. He trades in a manner. I had some luck, and then I was nearly with my mouth open, listening to how he navigates these small cap stocks with very little liquidity.
You gotta watch those small cap stocks. They will fail. They will fail on you very quickly with no liquidity. That's kind of like what I trade.
And I'm wondering, how on earth does he do that?
Practice. Being able to trade small cap stocks is with practice. Comes with practice. In and out every day, in and out every day, in and out every day, in and out every day. And depending on liquidity, you have to adjust for size. You have to adjust for size when the cold market, it's a hot market, it's a low quality setup, you have to adjust for size. And when it's a liquid setup. When it's a liquid setup, you have to size up. When it's an A setup, you have to size up. When it's a B setup, you have to not size up. It's just really like simple.
But wherever you are and whatever you do, there must be a way for you to just step back and pause for reflection, going, how can I engage in deliberate practice? How can I task myself to train to become better. And that's perhaps where trading is a little more difficult, because we know what we would do if we were, say, playing golf, playing basketball, or whatever it may be. When it comes to trading, you have to use your own, shall we say, inventiveness, your own ingenuity in trying to come up with approaches that will push you in a safe environment. For me, it comes down to 3 times a day in 1 hour sessions, or as I like to do, 6 sessions of 30 minutes, where I test myself in one of those playback features. And those playback features is as real as it comes. And it allows me a real life environment, but without the pressure of the trading, but challenging enough by itself. And frequently when I'm then in a real life situation, the pattern behavior, I've seen this before. You know, one of the most interesting things from a non-trading environment that I ever read was, and you have a trader over here called Victor Niederhofer. And Victor Niederhofer was terribly inspiring to me, not because of his trading, because he was a squash player. And I am absolutely enamored by squash. I'm knackered my shoulder, unfortunately, but if I could play squash all day, I would. One of Victor Niederhofer's inspiration was a chess grandmaster called Davies. And it was beyond interesting to see how a chess grandmaster practiced visualization through reading old chess books, through just placing chess pieces on the board and practicing how he would get out of a situation, or what he would do in specific circumstances. And so if a chess grandmaster can sit in his camper van on a campsite in Cornwall, having shot himself away from his family to practice for the next major tournament, well, perhaps we can do with less draconian measures. We can find and devise our own means of whether it's trading futures or options. So what I'm hoping to do here today, the reason why I come all the way to Los Angeles, isn't to give you that tool that always works, although there's some great tools and you'll get a PowerPoint presentation. Rather, it would try to inspire you to say, if you really want that elite level, you most likely have to stop looking outward for YouTube videos and look inwards to say, well, how can I, with the materials I already have, how can I change how I train? Because at the end of the day, when we are sat in the thick of it, that will highly likely decide whether that's going to be a successful outcome or an unsuccessful outcome, depending on the practice that you have put in beforehand. And that's why I train.
That's really good. Your success is going to come from all the practice you put in before. You know, you win before you come out to trade. The way winning comes, the way winning works is that the work that you put in before the fight will determine whether or not you're going to win. I think I was watching Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate and the other guy were fighting. What is that? The other guy, Andrew Tate fight. They were fighting or something, and I don't. There we go. I think it was Andrew Tate fight. Was it? I was watching how they, clearly, Andrew Tate was fighting, but this guy was obviously much more after it. Look at this one. Look at this crazy ass fight. Like, he's just getting his ass whooped, man. Look at this one. Just punching him straight in the face. So people get, look at this one as well. Crazy. So I was watching, like, look here in the beginning of the fight. Look how confident this guy was. This guy was confident. Look at this guy. Look how confident he was before the fight. And let me see. Let me just put in the sound here.
At the top G flinch. Don't forget. Talk is done, Andy. In your head, man. I'll see you soon. Gotcha. Scared. At the top G flinch. Don't forget. Talk is done, Andy. In your head, man.
So this guy came towards this guy, and he was very serious about it. Look at his energy. And this guy was speaking respectfully and holding his ground, but he came at him very strong. Look, some of his look at this guy was much more stronger than I think he was younger than this guy. I think I don't know how old were these two guys. Crazy as fighting scenes. Look at this one, really crazy. Yeah, so if you don't like obviously the guy in the right, this guy had much more drive, to take down the alpha, the top G. You can see how much this guy has practiced a lot more than this guy. This guy, did other things in his life, had other things going for it, and that's your edge. When you got nothing to lose, all your energy is going to be pushed into pretty much fighting. So this guy had nothing to lose, and the other guy was playing not to lose. So, when you have nothing to lose, you're gonna put in all that it's, when you have nothing to lose, like that guy from the right, you're gonna put in all your energy into the specific sport, whether beating top G or beating the stock market. You're just gonna put all your energy to beat it, and that's what winning requires. And after a while, after you start winning, like the top G did, you'll eventually start losing. Those are just the sad cycles of life. I wish life would be different and you would win all the time, but losing is part of the game, and he needs to, wisen up now that he lost the fight, and he needs to, get back on the horse and continue. As soon as somebody gets on the radar, as soon as somebody gets too successful, the equilibrium of the market and the life really puts you back into check. You can never be in the valley for too long, and you can never be on the mountain for too long. It's very that's not how the world is. The top G is not always gonna be on the top of the mountain, and if you're losing, you're not gonna be always in the valley. Just cycles of life. Just embrace the grind, because eventually you'll start winning.
Trade every single day in trading. As hard as it may be to understand that you can't trade in trading if you actually can't. Now let me ask you a question, because you were very kind to ask me a question. So I want to ask you something. I asked the audience a moment ago, how old are you, 42 now? 41. 41. So what is the next 10 years going to be in store for you? How are you going to become better? And in turn, in the process of becoming better, you will become a better teacher to your students. Because if you don't have a plan for that, you will plateau.
No, absolutely. You put me on the spot, but I absolutely have a 5-year plan, I have a 10-year plan. The same way when I started the trading journey, I had a 5-year and 10-year plan, and now it's just growing and it's just stacking up. I never thought that this would happen within a few years. It's like I went from unprofitable to profitable to then making exponential money and having all my dreams come down. So I got to make new goals, new dreams, and vision, and they're bigger and bigger. So, the world is opening up to me now. So now I have that 5-year plan, that 10-year plan, and eventually I want to design my own buildings and how I want to fund and design my own fractions. So, and come back to architecture on my own terms.
So you want to go away from trading?
Well, this is in my older years. This is I'm talking about 7 years old. So some of the architects that I studied that I like, they all
So I'm 56, and in the older years, they'll be 46. What does that make me? Hey, what? Do you find that architecture is your true calling, or do you think trading is your true calling, or is it an even split?
Well, the thing is, architecture is like an artist. You're like an artist. Artists, unfortunately, they don't get paid very well, and the freedom is not there. And a big thing, I didn't come on the trading journey for freedom, but I discovered it. Like, and the value of it is so great. So freedom is great. When you're free to do things with money and to host events like this, and just finance and fund your own projects that can help change the world for better, make the world better, make a dent in the world. So architecture, I did that in a way. My vision of it was doing that with buildings. But then unfortunately, the pay wasn't very good. It's like the 9-to-5 job. In the middle of this plaza is the biggest architecture firm, I think, in the world, Gensler. And it's just corporate. It's 9-to-5. It's, just a regular job, and it's just the title is architect, but it's not what it's made out to be, unfortunately. And I would not have the freedom. I'm going to go travel again after this. You were on holiday. Now I'm going to go on a holiday for a little bit, and I'm able to do whatever I want. The freedom. So I think both can be a calling.
In 2006, I attended the Tony Robbins seminar in London, and I sat back and wondered why people got so excited. I had an intuitive feeling that the path wasn't for me. And later on, I learned about the influence of dopamine on our nervous system. And we have what's called base level in dopamine. And that base level can obviously be aroused. It could be gambling, it could be pornography, sex, it could be gambling.
Oh, that's actually really good. The dopamine receptors. I really track my dopamine receptors. Like, you need to be very mindful of your dopamine receptors. When you're winning, you feel great. And you want to keep that. You need to keep, and you want to keep that winning continuously. And sometimes the market tricks me because I come in, I take a loss or two losses, and then pretty much I bet more to just gamble, to just get the feel of winning. Winning is very very addicting when you're winning. You don't want to lose. And what a lot of people do when they lose, they want to bet more, and when they want to bet harder. And that's exactly the time where you should step away, because not always you're gonna be on the top of the mountain. Sometimes you're gonna lose. Sometimes it's just nature of the business. You need to be very mindful when you decide to push it and when you decide to step back. So let's see if I forget what I'm talking about here.
Be heavy rock music. But what always happens to the dopamine level, and you will see that in a Tony Robbins environment, you get this excitement, this the voice, blah 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 blah. But what always happens to dopamine is that once it's elevated, it will always drop back down again to a baseline. That is unavoidable. And so the primary objection I have towards a Tony Robbins scenario and this whole motivational speaking is I have absolutely no interest in raising and spiking your dopamine level. Rather, I want to speak with you level-headed and say, change doesn't come through a rah-rah environment. Change comes when we're in the calm moments of a isolation by ourselves.
That's actually pretty good. Change, remember that. Change comes when you're pretty much isolated, talking to yourself. That's primarily when it comes. Doesn't come from pushing it pedal to the metal. Comes from small little increments. So Tony Robbins must be great, you know, for feeling a little bit excited one day, a little bit, just being excited about life, trying to turbo, jumpstart your depression. But it's like doing drugs, you know. You might be feeling happy when you're on the white stuff, but eventually the the thing is gonna, the effects are gonna wear down.
That really makes you happy.
Yeah, like you need to train yourself to be very neutral to whatever's happening in trading. Like I'm neutral whether I'm winning or losing. I stay the same whether I'm winning or whether I'm losing. That's what you need to do. You need to stay neutral. You need to stay balanced. You need to stay grounded. You cannot let you made a lot of money, change your logical part of your brain. You need to continuously to think logical, humble down, be very grounded with it. You can't be all excited about it. As soon as I see somebody excited, I saw one trader excited that he made 100% profit. He was really excited that he made this profit, and I was very happy for him. I don't know if he did wire money out because he did make a huge chunk. But guess what? He showed up the next day and he lost. I'm not sure if he lost all of it, but he was too excited to trade because he experienced the best trade, and not every day is going to be the best opportunity there. So when you have one of those big wins, you need to wire money out so it feels like a loss. So your body doesn't your body doesn't play the cushion game because you made a lot of money yesterday. Yeah, I can lose that amount of money that I made yesterday. You can't play the cushion game. You have to wire money out. So that way your brain gets pretty much pretty much get that dopamine hit down so you can think logically. These small gaps move really quickly, and fear and greed and FOMO and all those things are gonna bite you if you're not careful.
Happy. Because when you are dopamine high, anything can make you happy. And the sustained effort to pursue is happening as Muhammad Ali. I am extremely successful in the arena because all the work I did outside of the arena. And my arena is my trading platform, perhaps YouTube if you like, or the artistic articulation of what's going on in my inner chemistry through the Best Loser Wins book. But the reality is that that sustained effort isn't coming from motivation. It's coming from passion. And there's a very big difference between being motivated about something and being passionate about something. And I'm passionate about trading, and I can't think of anything I would rather do the rest of my life. Why? It's just because you can make another dollar, stick it in the bank that you'll never use? No, it's because it's the transformation of character. The transformation that takes place almost like a caterpillar to a butterfly.
That's true. Trading will change you for sure. You'll become much more resilient. You won't be so easily moved. You'll be very realistic about things that are going up in your life, going good or bad in your life. You'll be very realistic and down to earth. You're not gonna have any kind of, as soon as somebody tries to sell you something, you're gonna be like, oh, it's a scam. As soon as something that's too good to be true, you're going to be questioning it. Somebody giving you $100 on the side of the road, you're gonna be questioning it. Somebody gives you a free lunch, you're gonna be questioning everything. Everything you receive free from somebody, I already know he's trying to get something out of me. Same thing with love. as soon as I think you got it. Same thing with the dating part. All relationships end. Whether probably the longest relationship you're probably gonna have with your parents if you're still talking to them. But as far as dating goes, Every relationship is going to end, whether you have a divorce, whether she dies, or you die sooner. It's just the end is always going to be there. Just you know, as soon as somebody is trying to put, you know, one leg up or, you know, become too friendly, I'm always scared of people becoming too friendly with me out of the blue. They always want to get something out of me. You know, they want my attention, time, resources, and you know, compassion, and that's very sad. As soon as somebody becomes too friendly with you, you have to ask your question, like, why are they becoming too friendly? Because a normal person would not be too friendly. They're trying to manipulate you. That's what it is. Like, I don't receive anything for free, and um I question everything people do. That's what you should be doing. Nothing's guaranteed.
You become a different human being. And
Yeah, you're more of a realist, that's for sure. You're more of a realist after trading. You don't believe everything that flies.
that happens far, far away from any dopamine-infused high. Comes from that clarity of knowing this is what I'm passionate about, and I couldn't possibly dream of doing anything else. And I just offer you a piece of advice. If you don't have that about trading, by all means, carry on doing what you're doing. But if your hope is that you want to hit it big time, not so that you can be on YouTube, but you can just spend more time with your family, with your friends, and perhaps make meaningful contribution to society, then you can't do that with a little bit of rah-rah motivation. It has to be an entirely different effort. That effort is by and large self-directed, not directed by myself, nor by David, but by you, because only you can ever know what truly makes you tick. I hope that makes a lot of sense to you. And I wish someone had said that to me a long, long time ago, because I would have perhaps listened a little less to the noise and a little more to the inner voice.
So with that, I know your Best Loser Wins. It's like 230, 40 pages, I think. And the original one you told me was 750 pages. So what?
Can I tell you a little secret about Best Loser Wins that very few people know? I couldn't tell you 1 or 2 words what's in that book. Because it was written almost subconsciously. It was a message to myself. It was my problems that I described. Some of the stories you see in there, they are my stories. Some of the dialogues are my dialogue to myself. Some of those atrocities that you're seeing in there are my atrocities. It was written. But when I presented it to Harriman House, which is your publisher too, which brought us together, it was at the recommendation of a friend.
Yeah, so this guy is coming up with a book. I actually pre-ordered it. Like this book over here. Where's the book? Short Selling Master. I'm actually it's actually coming out like at the end of next year. So I actually did pre-order it. So we'll see how it goes.
Together. It was at the recommendation of a friend who knew the Steve Wall. And he said, I think Tom Hougaard has something that you would be interested in. And I reluctantly sent them this 375,000 word tome of all my thoughts and feelings over a 5-6 year period. And they came back, God bless them, and said, it's some potential, but it needs a bit of editing. And that was difficult to edit away. I don't know how I edited away, but you know me, the original file is still in existence. So it is for free distribution for anybody if they can somehow manage to spell their way through 375,000 words of garbage.
So did you journal in this way along with your trade journal? This is like a diary journal. Did you keep them separate or did you combine them?
That's like journaling. I don't know what journaling is for you, but journaling for me is to write about. So for example, do you remember the example that I showed with the FTSE? You know, where I lost 18,000 pounds through sheer stupidity? It was after that experience that I wrote the chapter discussed I couldn't tell you what disgust is all about. I just remember that feeling, how disgusted I was with myself of having pissed away all that money because I couldn't afford it. I could not afford to be that person one more time. And I somehow needed to find a way to remind myself of that.
Excellent. So right now we have a few minutes left. Maybe we want to do a Q&A? Right here? Sure.
Tom, first of all, thank you for writing this. It's always amazing book. I see something that you say in the book that is imagine yourself losing the money, like really visualizing, right? So it doesn't shock you. And you try to like steep ropes, right? You like add to the loser. How like you be such a role breaker, right? Because I see you talking and you get off the stage, you talk to the camera, you like naturally have the personality of like have full freedom of creativity. How you respect those rules so well? How do you become this person like that's causing a round trip, never ask the loser, like how?
That's a good question. Thank you. I have a split personality.
Yeah, no,
By choice. I use a tool. You may remember me writing about it, but I call it the Book of Horror. The Book of Horror is a series, too many, charts, like the FTSE chart you saw. When I get ready for trading in the morning, part of my warm-up process is to become a different person. And that transformation is the result of seeing what I don't want to be. You remember when I said, when you grow up in a perhaps less fortunate circumstance, you can push away motivation or towards motivation. When I see how badly I have traded, or indeed if I have some recent examples of having traded badly, I use it as motivation. Predominantly, what my mind does not want to do is it does not like to add to winners. I am not naturally inclined to add to winning trades. But by going through a series of examples of where I have added to trade, or opposite, where I've seen myself adding to losing trade, I flip that switch.
Yeah, actually, this is pretty good. What I tend to do, I tend to oversize. I oversize when I'm losing. I've seen it multiple times throughout like a 6 year period. I oversize when I'm losing, and I'm not like always sizing down when I'm in a cold market. When I'm in a cold market, I'm pushing pedal to the metal sometimes when I shouldn't have. And I'm oversizing when I'm losing. That's kind of like what I'm doing wrong. I need to work on that. I have no problems adding to my winner. I have no problems adding to my winner. That's, you've seen that this week. But I have problems changing bet sizing to hot and cold and recognizing it. And then when I'm losing in a cold market, I tend to oversize with a higher position and in order to make the loss back, which is, probably has to do with some dopamine levels that I'm getting from trading. Like, say I'm excited, say I'm always used to winning, and then I refuse to take a loss, and then it turns out to be a big loss. That's the problem I struggle with. It has to do, I think, with dopamine levels. I think because when you're used to having good dopamines every day, and then one day you have a crap dopamine, you go back and you try to fight it to get the dopamine. It's not about the money; it's more about the dopamine that you're getting from winning. So that's you need to examine like what you're doing wrong. And I can only tell you what I'm doing wrong because I'm examining myself. You really need to study yourself in this game.
And somehow a transformation takes place in my mind that when I start trading, I will naturally want to do the very thing that my normal mind wouldn't want to do. So it's a really great question because it's not there permanently. I have to force it every single day, mostly twice a day when I trade the European session and the US session. And to be specific, I will watch my trades, usually in paper form, especially that FTSE example that you saw. And I'll say, if I get an opportunity to sell short the FTSE, and then I can sell short more at a lower price, that's the exact opposite of what I did. And I know that statistically, if I keep doing that, I will never be the 90%. Of course, I'm going to have days like Monday. Of course, they will be.
Yeah, this is actually really good. Try not to be more than, try to bet a lot. Like, for example, last week was a little cold, and the beginning of this week was really hot. And I knew that things were going to get hot because, I studied the market. Like, I told the chat like 2 weeks ago that, hey, they're going to start moving them around Christmas, and we're going to have a hell of a, end of the year and then a hell of a January. And that's exactly what they did. And everybody was pushing size like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I had one subscribers, he was continuously losing trade after trade after trade after trade after trade. And he didn't really want to accept the fact to do nothing. And I told him that it's time to do nothing. And then he lost all his money and then he left. Because he not only didn't listen, but he also, told me that I'm not kind enough. I'm not kind enough for him to stay longer. Anyway, so right now I'm just repeating the pattern that happened 2 years ago. Christmas, they were really hot, and it's probably gonna be hot next week. And it's probably gonna be hot in January. So I'm pushing size and I'm taking profits and making a huge bank. But if I haven't known this data, if I would have been the average trader and just sizing in during a market where they're not moving, I would have lost all my account multiple times. You have to really listen to your, teacher, which is me. And if you don't listen to the teacher, there's your 2,000 flushed down the toilet, or 5,000 or 10,000 or 20,000 flushed down the toilet because you're just in a bad market. You have to really recognize. So as soon as I recognized that these things are started running, I started buying them and buying size at it. And that's how I finished. And it came out easy. The reason it came out easy last week, because you see my video for last week, is because I practiced in a cold market, and now some things have, things are easy when you're trying to get milk out of a rock. It's for a little bit longer than a couple of weeks. Eventually when it starts pouring rain, you're going to collect a big bucket of rain. You're going to have, when the cows show up, you're going to have a lot of milk. Just the normal pattern.
But if I can always do the right thing, and that's what I spoke to that gentleman earlier on today. He was talking about, I don't want to do the wrong thing. And I said, well, what does that mean to do the wrong thing? Did you follow your strategy? Yes. Well, how could that be the wrong thing? Well, because I lost. Yeah, but you don't have a crystal ball.
That's good. That's good. Like, even though I have losing days, I still follow the strategy that I have. I still follow the setup. I still follow the 2 losses per ticker. Still follow the max loss. You can lose. You can have a red month, and you're still following the rules. That's what this career is. Sometimes you're just gonna lose, regardless. It takes a while until you start winning, and then you win all the time, and then you have a big loss. It's just the cycles of trading. It's really, really, really hard in the beginning. Then you start winning. Then you win all the time, and then you have a big loss, and then the cycle repeats. It's a never-ending cycle. The emotions are really tricky in this environment. You need to continuously watch your emotions.
And you just saw this.
Follow the plan. Follow the plan. There you go. Follow the plan that you started, and you'll be all right.
Light coming up. Oh yeah, no, but does that answer your question?
Yes, I have a follow-up question.
Of course, there's always a possibility. It's a bit like when they say, one quick question. 10 minutes later.
No, it's a great answer, but I have a follow-up question. And I started guiding my trades, and honestly, my curve like had a dramatic change.
How does it feel emotionally to add? Was it easy for you?
No.
Well, there's your answer.
So the first time
Have you ever added to a losing trade?
oh.
I guess you have. Does that feel easy to you?
It did.
Yeah.
Of course, I was,
So
buying,
there you
I was
go.
buying at a better price.
I have. So, but you have just explained to yourself and the audience is that what was easy was wrong and what was difficult was right. That is the essence of this perverse. In what world does it make sense to buy something today? Because today is more expensive than it was yesterday. It's a bit like going into the supermarket and going, oh, we want chicken today because it's more expensive today than it was yesterday.
Oh my God, that's actually really funny. That's actually really funny. Here's an example. In what world does that make sense? Well, let's look at example of silver. And only in trading, looking at silver at $20. Take a look at silver, man. It's ridiculous. Only in the world of trading. Look at this. It's ridiculous. Look at this. I was watching it. $40, $45. This is like the supermarket. You don't want to buy it. Next thing you know, it's just going parabolic. We're at $80 now. Look at this. We got up to $82 and coming down to 75. Like, in what world, seeing the stock at 50 and now at 80, if you see the stock at 30, 40, why didn't you buy it at 45? Why didn't you buy it at 50? Why didn't you buy it at 55? Why didn't you buy it at 60? Now you want me to buy it? It's just, in what world exactly? This is the thing about trading. Only in trading it makes sense to buy it higher.
No, if you go to your supermarket and you see that chicken is more expensive today than it was yesterday, you're gonna go, we're having tofu. But because we seek value. But in trading, it's the opposite parameter that works. And that's why trading
look at
is
the opposite
difficult.
parameters here. This is why
Because
it's so
it goes
difficult.
against what we want to do.
Yeah, it goes against, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what about and this is something that is really haven't been able to figure out. But very since I did that, I saw that you're adding change market cycles, right? And I think that when you teach, and I might be right or wrong, it applies to any market from my perspective. Because the structure is not really depending on anything else, right? You win more units than the units that you lose. So theoretically, I think it's brilliant for any market. But right now, for instance, I trade small caps. And the market, at least from my perspective, or setups that I focus on, are a little bit more choppy. So my question is, do I keep round trip it until the market cycle changes, or do I focus more on bases and resistances without adding?
I just need to ask what round tripping meant, but you round trip it in a
Yeah, like do I let it go and then go to zero and I'm out again, which I've been doing a lot. Like I add and I let it run right until
That's
zero.
Okay. I think for the clarity or brevity, for the sense of brevity and respecting the time, I'm gonna have to give you a short answer. Obviously, you have to adapt to your environment. And your environment is alien to me. My environment might be alien to you. But I also know that, as an example, say that we go into a summer doldrum. I make mistakes there because I have a home run mentality. And if I buy the FTSE at 10, and you as well, and it goes up to 50, and I buy again, I'm thinking this one's gonna go to 50. And I'm adding 300 lots on every 5 points. And I've already calculated that's a 70,000 pound trade right there. I can't help myself. My mind has traveled to the future already, which may or may not be a good thing, but I'm fearless. But then the market then goes back to 10 and you're thinking, perhaps this summer environment is not the best time to be the most aggressive. So one thing I keep an eye on is VIX. The VIX index also, shall we say, dictates how aggressive I want to be. And I think that could be something that you could perhaps advantageously use as well.
Okay, guys, we're gonna start wrapping it up because we gotta go to Perch. Who here is coming to Perch? Everybody? Okay, yes, it's a straight shot that way. You don't want to miss the Perch. LA is developing a place. So, yeah, we're starting to pack it up. Let's do one question. Yeah, why not?
Focus. You share is just going to be a second book?
Yes, I believe that a second book is needed because I don't think that everything I wanted to say has been said. And the second book is called The Will to Act. And if there was ever anything that I would want to do apart from trading, it would be the exploration of the mind under stress. Because I find it incredibly informative in my own journey to find out what you might think, oh, he's got his sauce. I assure you, I got nothing sauce whatsoever. Because every single time you think you got something sauce, the market just throws something new at you, or life throws something new at you. And so that's the beauty of life. You just keep growing if you want to grow. If you don't want to grow, you can just, take a side step. I don't want to not grow. But growing is also tremendously painful because it means you constantly have to make sure that you eat the right food, get the right amount of sleep, make sure that your blood sugar is stable so that you can maintain that ferocious energy. Because there's nothing worse than sitting there looking at the Dow and all you really want to do is to go to bed because you've eaten carbohydrates for lunch and you have a big pasta dish and you're like, I don't want to trade Dow, I don't know what store, on jump TV or drink Coca-Cola. So there's you're always on. Anyway, can I want to make a pledge here because I know that many people have traveled. You said there was 22 nationalities here, and I know
20 countries.
20 countries, and people come
from the same country, so we have a ton of countries here.
I pledge I will not leave this locality on every single one of you have had that inscription in your book.
All right, we are done here. We're at the end. Anyway, so the book is called, I don't know if you can see it focusing there. There you go. Best Loser Wins. That's kind of like what it is. You can download it on Audible. I have it on Audible. I actually listened to it like 2 times. It's very nice to look at his views. I actually enjoyed his book. His book was great. It's like 6 hours and 48 minutes. He was talking about all those guys that lost money during the Bitcoin crash. And then he was talking about some low floats. Low float stock. The book is in 2022. And pretty nice book. I thought it was pretty good. I have a lot of Audible books. Whenever they show up in my finance section, I go in Audible, look in the finance section. Whenever I see a book that's related to trading, I kind of buy it, listen to it. The preview sounded nice, so I bought it, and it was good. And now here he is. I'm reviewing his video. I enjoyed the book. It was educational. I was listening to it while I was playing Battlefield 2042. Now I play Battlefield 6. So, other than that, until tomorrow, make sure you use the link below and get started with trading. Starting next week, I'll be busy all week. That's what I do. I trade Monday through Friday. I don't have time to do YouTube streams. I'm in my private chat room every single day, and that's what I do Monday through Friday. Over the weekend, you should be grateful I'm even doing these because it takes a lot of my time, especially the data analysis, the reels, and this reaction video. It takes a lot of my time. So see you all later, and see you all in the next one. Peace out.